For most of my life, I've had a complicated relationship with cardio, to say the least. And yesterday, we started talking a little bit about cardiovascular work. We were talking about walking as being kind of a really underutilized tool for improving cardiovascular health and just general well-being. But today, I want to talk about heart rate variability. Because in my experience, my history with cardio is that I would push really hard, feel terrible, be very resistant to keep doing it, and then wonder why I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to see. It wasn't really until I started paying attention to what my body was actually telling me, rather than just what my ego wanted to do, that everything started to change. So today I want to talk about HRV because it's a metric that I really think every woman should understand. Welcome to your daily hit of grace and grit, your quick dose of inspiration to kickstart your day. I'm Courtney Townley, and here is today's hit. So let's start with the basics, because HRV is one of those terms that gets thrown around a lot without very much explanation. HRV stands for heart rate variability. And despite the name, it has nothing to do with an irregular heartbeat. Here's the simple explanation. Your heart does not beat like a metronome, even at rest, right? The time between each beat varies just a little bit. Sometimes it's a fraction of a second more, sometimes a fraction of a second less. The variation is your HRV. And it turns out that variation is actually a sign of health. A higher HRV generally means that your nervous system is resilient, well-recovered, and adaptable the way we want it. Your body has the resources to handle stress, physical, mental, emotional, in whatever package it comes, and bounce back from it. A lower HRV means that your system is under load. It's fatigued. It's still recovering. It's not quite ready to be pushed. So think of HRV as kind of a daily report card from your nervous system. Just information about how your body is handling stress. Now, alongside HRV, your resting heart rate tells you something really important too. A lower resting heart rate generally indicates a stronger, more efficient cardiovascular system. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard to do its job. So over time, as you get fitter, your resting heart rate tends to drop. A lot of people track this metric to literally gauge how fit they are. When it spikes, when your resting lower heart rate spikes, when it's higher than your normal baseline, that's often a signal that something's off. And I have seen this so many times in my practice, in my own personal journey, but also with clients, that you will often see their resting heart rate start to spike when they're fighting something, so they're about to get sick, when they are contending with more stress in their life than what is normal, they're under-recovered, or they're overtraining. So it's a great metric to gauge because it tells you a lot. Now, together, HRV and resting heart rate give you a real-time window into how your body is actually doing. Not how you think it's doing, not how hard you think you should be training, but what is actually true today, right now, because it's changing all the time. So here's the thing that I had to learn the hard way. And I said this yesterday in yesterday's episode, more is not always more. I was a chronic overtrainer when it came to cardio. So I would push really hard in my cardiovascular training for seasons, and then I would completely abandon it because I was so burnt out and I hated it so much. And I hated it so much because I thought that the harder I pushed, the better the results would be. But what I was actually doing was piling stress on top of a system that hadn't fully recovered, and then wondering why I felt terrible, why I was resistant to going back, and why I wasn't getting the results I wanted to get. When your body is under recovered and you push it hard anyway, you're not building fitness. You're compounding fatigue. You're asking a depleted system to do more than it can handle, and it will fight you. That resistance isn't you being weak or lazy. It is physiological, biological intelligence. So I've been using a Morpheus heart rate monitor for a couple of years now. I have actually gifted this to several people in my Rumble and Rise community. It's a pretty inexpensive heart rate monitor. I want to say that I paid like $97 for it. But it's literally the most advanced heart rate monitor I know of out there, and it also happens to be one of the cheaper ones. So that's a beautiful combination. But I can't tell you how much it has shifted my relationship with cardio, because what it showed me very quickly was that on the days I thought I should be pushing really hard cardiovascularly, Morpheus actually told me otherwise. When I thought I had to do, so many intense cardiovascular workouts a week to get benefits, Morpheus would kind of rein me in and tell me otherwise. What I love about Morpheus, and by the way, I'm not an affiliate for it, so I'm not getting any kickbacks for sharing this with you. It's just been really instrumental in helping me to improve my relationship with cardio. But it takes all of this data. It takes resting heart rate and heart rate variability and makes it genuinely usable without me having to do a lot of thinking or, calculations on my part. So basically, every morning I do a really quick HRV reading. I just put on my Morpheus monitor, and based on the results of that reading, the recovery reading, Morpheus gives me a training recommendation based on that. So I have a target heart rate zone for the day, and if my HRV is high and my recovery is strong, obviously Morpheus tells me that I can push, and it gives me a little bit, of a more challenging training window. But if my HRV is low, it pulls me back and keeps me at a lower zone of cardio. So again, I said this before, but I'll say it again. What it's done for my relationship with cardio is pretty remarkable, because instead of white knuckling my way through my workouts, I'm training in a way that matches where my body actually is. So some days that means really intense effort, and often it means a walk. And both are valid, because both are what my body actually need. So it's gamified cardio for me too in the best possible way, because it's giving me goals to achieve each week with the total amount of cardio that I'm doing. I'm not guessing anymore. I'm responding. And as I get fitter, of course, Morpheus is challenging me with the amount of cardio that I'm doing in a week. So again, I said this, but I'm going to say it again. I'm not paid by Morpheus. I am not an affiliate. This is not a sponsored episode. It's just a tool that I have genuinely found valuable, and I wanted to share it with you. So you don't need a fancy device. You don't need Morpheus necessarily to start paying attention to your body's signals. But if you are someone who struggles with cardio, who tends to push too hard or not hard enough, who wants to train smarter, HRV monitoring is worth exploring. And again, Morpheus has just really helped me with that in a profound way. For midlife women especially, I think it's an important reminder that the goal is not to train as hard as possible. The goal is to train as well as possible. And that requires knowing where you actually are before you decide how hard to push. And something like a Morpheus monitor or 1,000 other gadgets that can track your HRV and resting heart rate, listen to your body. Pay attention to the data. It's telling you really important information. And I think you will see significant improvements if you are really paying attention to that information. If this stirred something inside of you, imagine what a whole book of clarity and courage could ignite. The Consistency Code, a midlife woman's guide to deep health and happiness, goes even deeper into the mindset and practices that create real, meaningful change at midlife. Grab your copy today over at theconsistencycode.com and keep the momentum alive.